at Iowa, Rochester in '95, and again in '97. The only manager to finish first at all 3 AAA leagues. There are only 2, but there is a manager who could eventually tie that record. Greg Biagini, who won an Oklahoma City American Association Championship and then won at Rochester in the International League. So you never know, he could end up in the PCL and tie that record.
Hey, Sparky Anderson's the only manager to win in both leagues, the World Championship. He's got nothing on Marv Foley. He's won 3 championships in 3 different PCL leagues, or 3 different AAA leagues.
And Marv's got about 20 years on Sparky, too. Top of the 4th inning. Armando Rios was at the plate when Jeremy Giambi pulled up lame between first and second, got thrown out trying to steal. It'll be Rios, Derek White, George Arias scheduled in the top of the 4th inning. Second inning of work are Calvin Maduro, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Baron right-hander. Well, for the most part, pitchers have been working quickly. Batters have been up there swinging early in the count, being aggressive. Got a couple of home runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts already. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the 4th. 3-1 International League over the Pacific Coast League.
Fresno has been playing at Fresno State University this year while they've been trying to get a new ballpark. The last time I talked to Branch Rickey III, the president of the PCL, I thought things were going well as far as the stadium issue in Fresno.
2 balls, 1 strike. Half swing, check swing. Otañez can't make the play. In an all-star game, it'll probably be a base hit for Armando Rios. Travis Baptist pitched the first. Well, Joe, we'll get it down to you in a moment when we get a chance. Leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 4th inning. I think in an all-star game, you give base hit all the way on that play. Derek White is next.
And you're right. They did.
Everybody wants a hit in the all-star game. Derek White flied to left his first time. And a breaking ball is low in the strike zone. That gets Maduro ahead of him. And he goes down and away from him, gets ahead 0-2. Now, Derek White, this guy is no Johnny-come-lately. He's been around for a while, 28 years of age. Debuted the major leagues in '93 with the Expos for 17 ball games. Hit a couple of home runs. 39 games with the Tigers in '95. He's an Oklahoma Sooner. Was a football and baseball All-American at Santa Rosa, California Community College before his days in Norman. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner goes, then stops, and the breaking ball is outside.
Well, again, Iowa off to a terrific start this year. They had Kerry Wood for a while. That didn't hurt their pitching staff. Kenny Steenstra, who's also 7-0 with that club, he didn't make it. And Kurt Miller, former Florida Marlin, has also pitched very well with that staff.
I asked Derek White, what was it like playing behind Kerry Wood? He said, well, we didn't have to do a whole lot. He was striking out everybody. And there is nobody, Dave, nobody on the International League team who told me they're sorry Kerry Wood is not pitching for the PCL tonight. 6-4-3, double play ball. And the bases are empty with 2 outs. George Arias coming up. Let's go down now to Joe Castellano with Travis Baptist.
And Travis, that looked like a good pitch that you threw to Mike Lowell that he hit the home run on. It looked like you kept it pretty low.
It was a decent change. I mean, it was down, but, you know, facing Lowell last year, I think he was probably looking for the pitch, and sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
Talk about your career, because when you were 22 years old, you were in AAA already. What did you learn that got you here to the All-Star game?
A lot of it's patience, knowing yourself, and knowing how to pitch hitters. Before, I was just throwing pitches up there, and now I try and read batters and locate and, you know, to try to mess their timing up.
Have a little butterflies going here for this start?
Oh, it's always exciting when you're facing the all-star players.
Okay, back up to you guys.
All right, Joey, Travis Baptist at the age of 26. This ball hit to the wall by George Arias, and he'll have a 2-out double here in the 4th inning. So against Calvin Maduro, the PCL gets all 3 of its base hits. And a runner at second base. It'll bring the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, Arias didn't get all of this ball. He kind of jammed himself just a little bit. The wind helped blow it away from the left fielder, Krause, and Arias was able to get in with a double. So Scott Krause playing left couldn't quite catch up with it as the wind kind of blew it away from him.
Next up is the DH out of Iowa, Alan Zinter. Called out on strikes the first time up as he took a Joel Bennett fastball away. Bobby Estrella keeping that one out in front.
No, we mentioned Estrella, the catcher. He had kind of lit up the wire services last year. He got a start in the game when Mike Lieberthal was hurt. He got called up by the Phillies. He had 3 home runs in the game against Montreal and 2 of them against Pedro Martinez in that game. He's a good-looking catcher. He's going to catch for somebody, whether it's the Phillies or somebody else in the big leagues.
2 balls, no strikes to Zinter.
Zinter was the #1 draft choice of the Mets many years ago and was eventually traded to Detroit for Rico Brogna. Brogna's since gone to Philadelphia. He was having a great year.
Yeah, here's a man who's 30 years of age. He's never made it to the major leagues. Cubs signed him as a free agent last December. He has been waiting for his chance for a long, long time. Some of our fans might remember him from our coverage of college baseball back in the 80s on ESPN. This guy goes back quite a ways, and he's got the 2-out walk. Maduro's only retired 1 batter in this inning, but that was a double play ball by Derek White. Arias doubled. Zinter with a walk now, and Jeff Ball will bat with 2 on, 2 out.
Yeah, the double play. It was a nice turn by Ronnie Belliard, the second baseman, too. He showed very quick hands.
Another Fresno ball player from the Grizzlies, Jeff Ball. Four years ago, he was on the Texas League All-Star team. Up the middle, well hit. Rounding third is Arias, and he will score, and the PCL is back to within 1. The RBI for Jeff Ball. It's now a 3-2 ball game.
Well, we heard Derek White say early on that his offense wasn't going to be held down. That 3-run lead was nothing. They've cut it down to 1 now, and Paul LaDuca of Albuquerque coming to the plate.
16, Paul LaDuca.
So Jeff Ball 1 for 2 with the RBI now. And LaDuca hit the ball very hard first time up. He was the first man that Maduro faced. A shot up the middle, and Alan Battle came in to make a shoestring catch. From the Dodgers affiliate in Albuquerque, the Duke is hitting .318. This guy had a real good season last year, batting .327. Put together a 20-game hitting streak from late May into mid-June. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a chopper out to short. Cabrera, the short way to Belliard. And the inning is over, but the Pacific Coast League gets a run closer. 3 hits and a walk in the inning. They settle for 1. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Get cleaner, more refreshed.
Get zestfully clean.
Bottom of the 4th inning, the International League dugout trying to get back to work here. They were up 3-0. It's now a 3-2 ball game here in Norfolk, home of the Tides, and leading off will be a talented young third baseman, good offensive threat, Dave Campbell, out of Rochester, Willis Otañez.
Yeah, he won the home run contest yesterday, doubled his first time up, and Joe Castellano broadcast the Red Wings. Joe, my question to you is, everybody talked in spring training about Ryan Miner being the heir apparent maybe to Cal Ripken. Where does Willis fit into the picture?
Well, I think now he fits into the picture pretty well because he's been on a tear the entire first half of the season. And Ryan Miner really has struggled, to be quite honest, in AA Bowie. So Kevin Malone, the assistant general manager of the Orioles, has talked about how they'd like to get Otañez up there, but they don't want to bring him up there to sit on the bench. It'll be a matter of him getting a chance maybe later on with some moves.
65 RBIs on the year. Doubled and scored his first time up. Did a nice job of going the other way. Facing Chris Brock again. Brock came in the 3rd out of Fresno. and worked a 1-2-3 inning.
It's on TV now.
That'll even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the crowd settling in. Otañez, Estelea, and Trot Nixon here at the bottom of the 4th inning. A shot to right center. This ball will drop, and Otañez is 2 for 2. And he's gone the other way both times.
Well, Chris Brock went to school at Florida State University, was signed by the Atlanta Braves, who know a thing about pitching or two, in 1992. Missed a lot of 95 with a rotator cuff problem, but ended up over the Giants organization, and he's one of their harder throwers. They have a good starting rotation, tough to crack. Estes, Reeder, Gardner, Oral, Hershiser, and Danny Darwin, but you never know. If somebody goes down, he might be the first call.
Bobby Estelea went up swiping at it. He's hit 15 homers this year. Has an RBI tonight with a base hit. Lovely night in Norfolk. The weather is held off. Boats are going by, blowing their horns at us. Lovely setting here along the Elizabeth River at Harbor Park. This ballpark opened on April 14th of 1993 with a 2-0 win over the Ottawa Lynx. Folks are having a good time out there. I guess those are the bleachers, huh?
Yeah,
tonight they are.
Movable bleachers.
1 ball, 1 strike. And some of the players had a wonderful time on the All-Star Gala last night on the USS Enterprise. Two balls and a strike. Way up and away, ball 3. Leadoff man aboard. A chance for more here for the Internationals in the bottom of the 4th. They got 3 in the first on 3 hits, including a Mike Lowell homer and an Estelea RBI. Chris Brock comes home, and he hits the inside corner. 3-2.
Otañez looks over at his first base coach, Dave Miley, to see if maybe the steal sign's on. A lot of times, you know, most of the time, the third base coach gives the signs, but first base coach, he'll have the old backup, the wink, if you're running.
3-2. Otañez, short lead. He goes, and a foul back to the screen.
Well, Estelea was trying to hit the ball to right field, and rightly so, because Hedgick, the second baseman, was covering on the play.
Harbor Park, about the same dimensions as Shea. 338 down the right field line, 410 to dead center. A little shorter in the left field corner at 333. 370 some in the gaps. And a little tapper foul off to the left. Count stays 3-2.
Well, they tried to design the dimensions to conform with Shea Stadium in New York. The only thing it's missing is the Big Apple out in right center.
And the river is a little closer here. But there is a big-time breeze blowing out to left field right now. Boy, any ball up in the air to left field is leaving this park tonight. We've seen 2 already. 3-2, runner holding. High fly. He got on underneath it, so this is a pop-up to left field. And Derek White for the first out. Well, last night, the All-Star Gala was held on the USS Enterprise. How about this? 8 nuclear-powered reactors send this Nimitz-class carrier all over the world. 1,123 feet long. It's taller than the Empire State Building if you could stand it on its end. A lot of guys had a great time last night. That was Travis Baptist. By the way, they say, Dave, that power, those reactors, could supply all the power the city of Minneapolis needs to light everybody up at night. How about that?
Well, a full complement. The thing that impressed me talking to the guys tonight, 5,200 people on that ship. Wow.
11,300 meals per day. And the deck of that thing is 4.5 acres. Unbelievable. We've got a couple of the guys up here hanging out with us tonight, trying to talk us into going for a midnight ride down the river. What do you think?
Yeah.
I told them I'm not going unless I get to take off in one of those jets.
I'm doing the math on the meals. It sounds to me like they're only getting 2 meals a day.
It's 2 squares, though, and that ball's over Armando Rios' glove. It's going to score a run, and Trot Nixon is running for third base. That ball took off on Armando Rios, and he never did make contact with it. It'll be an RBI triple, and the International League takes a 4-2 lead.
Well, how quickly the fortunes can change. Armando Rios, 2 for 2 offensively and 2 brilliant defensive plays, all of a sudden kind of got fooled. They always say the toughest ball to handle is the one hit directly at you. Nixon just crushed this ball, and Rios was fooled by it. He took a couple of steps in, and then it kind of got in that jet stream and went right over his head.
Rod Nixon with the RBI triple. So the IL back on top by a couple. 1 out here in the 4th, and Scott Krause the batter. Krause out of Louisville. Good RBI man this year with 49.
We'll see if Krause gets 2 strikes on him. If Jerry Royster plays it any different. He has the infield back with 1 out. But if they get 2 strikes on Crouch, he might move him in.
That one over but low. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Brock out of Fresno. 7 games for Atlanta last year. Former Seminole from Florida State. And a bouncer to third is foul outside the bag. That was a contact play. Trot Nixon was going on it. He would have scored easily had that ball been fair. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Well, let's see if Royster does play it differently. It looks like the infielders are coming in. At least they're coming in and doing some checking of the dirt. But Hadjic and Terry Shumpert now come in with 2 strikes. Thinking on this is that with 2 strikes, the hitter's going to be more defensive. And so he's not going to have as good a swing.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He was looking to shoot that ball out to right field.
Yeah, the only problem with Chris Brock, he got that ball up. You got to get the ball down in this situation. You're going to go for the strikeout, come up and in, but don't leave it out over the plate where you can just hit a fly ball to right center.
How about Terry Shumpert at shortstop? Have you ever seen a shortstop play that shallow?
No, he's in tighter than the third baseman, George Arias.
1-2 pitch. Base hit the other way. And another run for the International League. They lead it 5-2 as Scott Krause delivers going the other way.
Well, number 1, good hitting by Krause. You give him credit, but not very good pitching by Chris Brock. He two consecutive fastballs up and out over the plate, and hitters are going to protect away when they have 2 strikes on them. Look at this pitch. It is belt high right out over the plate. Almost every hitter will protect away when he gets 2 strikes, figuring if the ball's in on him, the worst case is he's going to get jammed. You either got to pound him in or throw a breaking ball down in the dirt in that situation.
Well, last night in Denver, the American League tied an all-star record with 19 hits. Looks like the Internationals may be trying to go that some better tonight. We haven't played 4 full innings yet. They already have 8. So offense is the name of the game this year in professional baseball, as it has been for the last couple of seasons. Hobert Cabrera base hit his first time up. He went the other way.
Well, in addition to your ESPN assignments, I know you do the Cardinal games, so that has had to be a treat for you to watch Mr. McGuire this year.
It has. It really has. But it's been tempered, Dave, the last couple of weeks by the lack of success by the ball club overall. And Mark McGuire would be the first one to tell you, hey, this would be a whole lot more fun if my ball club was winning.
Well, the other side of the coin, Ken Griffey's club and Sammy Sosa's. Sammy's is doing better lately, but Griffey's club has been struggling as well.
I thought it was interesting because we did a little research last week, and in games where McGuire, Griffey, and Sosa have homered, their ball clubs are just right around the 500 mark. Cubs had the best mark of the 3, a little bit over 500. But the Cardinals and the Mariners have not necessarily parlayed McGuire-Griffey home runs into W's. High and tight with a fastball, and Cabrera swings right through it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now, that was an excellent pitch by Chris Brock, and that's what he needed to do to Krause. Cabrera trying to shoot that ball to right field, too, and he pounded him up and in.
Two pitch. Hit to third. Arias to his left. Hadjic turns it. 5-4-3 as the PCL goes around the horn. But in the 4th, 2 runs on 3 hits for the International League. And on to the 5th inning of the All-Star game. 5-2 home team.
On ESPN.
Well, the homestanding International League on top by 3. They led by 3 in the 1st inning and have added 2 more. Another nice double play tonight. We've seen two. This one, Arias giving an excellent feed to Hadjic, and Hadjic with a nice hands at second base turns it over easily. And earlier, watch Ronnie Belliard's quick hands at second base. I wouldn't say quite shades of Bill Mazeroski, but certainly a nice turn by both of the second basemen. Mike Figa, Columbus, has taken over for Bobby Escalea behind the plate.
And the new pitcher, 27-year-old left-hander, Jason Hakami. We've seen him with the Royals, the Mets, the Indians.
Another new blonde.
Yeah.
Seems to be the rage in professional baseball this year.
Chuck Finley got it all started. Dave Hadjic, the Las Vegas second baseman, will lead off the top of the fifth. Pacific Coast League now down by 3. He flied to left his first time up. Hakami's with a fastball up and away, ball 1. Dave Hadjic, Terry Shumpert, then we'll see Warren Newson for the first time.
Hakami, of course, has had major league service. Hadjic will go get himself maybe some pine tar or a little better grip on that bat. Hakami, Kansas City. Spent some time with Cleveland. He was trying to get back to the big leagues.
1 ball, 1 strike. And left-handers have been known to do that later in their careers once they figure things out.
Well, if you stick around, you just never know. I mean, Scott Bales was out of baseball for 3 or 4 years. There's somebody else at the major league level that didn't pitch for a couple of years.
This ball tomahawked out to center field. Alan Battle with a long run, and he gets it as the wind kept pushing that ball toward the gap. Alan Battle covering some serious ground in the left center.
Got a good read. Important when you got to go that far to get a great first step, and he did. Tracking, and you can see that wind just kept carrying it. Anything hit from the 410 sign in straightaway center towards left is going to be helped.
I'll tell you something that jumped out at me today when I was doing some research on this ball game. The second best earned run average of starters in the International League, a gentleman by the name of Dave Steve, 2.73 with a record of 5-4. And a chopper down to third off the bat of Shumpert. Throws sails on Otañez.
Willis had a little trouble defensively tonight. He got a favorable scoring decision on the check swing grounder that was ruled a base hit. This time it'll be an E5, a 2-base throwing error for Willis Otañez.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it.
Fairly routine play, gets a good read on it, but throw just sails on him, and Fettuccini decides if he sticks his arm in, he's going to get it ripped off. So we're going to have a pinch runner coming on now for Terry Shumpert.
That appears to be Jason Wood, the Fresno, the Edmonton infielder. Was born and raised in the Fresno area. Jason Wood will pinch run.
What?
The Deacon in, Warren Newson. Good to see him back. He had that same injury that Dean Palmer, the Royals, had. Of course, Dean had it, I think, when he was still with Texas, the torn bicep muscle.
Warren Newson at the age of 34.
You know, another pitcher that was named to this squad, although he didn't appear at the All-Star game. We weren't given the reason why. Mark Eichhorn, 37 years old, making a comeback. He's put up terrific numbers this year, but that's another guy that's been out of baseball for a couple of years after major surgery.
Runner at second, 1 out, top of the fifth. Newson having a .324 year at Oklahoma. They're not Oklahoma City anymore. They're the Oklahoma Redhawks. And that ball goes right through the legs of Mike Figa. So a rather sloppy fifth inning for the International League here. And a runner now to third base with 1 out.
Actually, the game's been played very well up to this point. And that one is ruled a wild pitch. It got in the dirt. And Jason Wood Moves on to third.
Now this one gets away. No advancement by the runner.
I think Mike was watching Javi Lopez last night. That was a nightmare inning for poor Javi. Uguet Urbina had that stuff going all over the place. Figa had some pretty good years at Columbus, but with Joe Girardi and Jorge Posada, the catcher not only of the future, but catcher now, he's got a tough road ahead of him in that Yankee organization.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball is flied out of play off to the left side. So the Pacific Coast League a chance to get a gift run here and make this a 2-run ball game again. They've been out hit 8-5, outscored 5-2. Top of the 5th inning in the 1998 AAA All-Star game from Norfolk. And the 2-2 pitch. Ball was hanging up high, bounced out to second, belly yard the play. 2 down, and a run comes home. Well, Joe Castellano surrounded by presidents tonight. Joey?
Randy Mobley, the president of the International League, and Branch Rickey, who is the president of the Pacific Coast League. And, well, the question is, I mean, this is a great event here. You must be very pleased the way it's turned out.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful event. We've had many, many good ones, but there's none better than this one.
And then the next step is the AAA World Series. You have to be pleased to get together for that.
It was a big announcement for us today to unleash the logo and talk about all of our plans for September. We think it's going to be a very exciting finale to the AAA season.
Okay, what's the bet? Who wins what if the International League wins the Pacific Coast League?
Well, we've got to come up with that. We've been getting our little jabs back and forth here the last few days, but between now and September 21st, when that begins, we'll have to get something on the line.
Any ideas, Branch?
None yet, but I think we're really going to develop something special.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
Isn't it great to hear the name of Branch Rickey, a gentleman you know very well?
Well, they relocated their headquarters in Colorado Springs, which is my hometown, and had a chance to certainly enjoy many nice evenings with Branch and Diane Rickey, and I think he's going to do a terrific job. He was the president of the American Association, but he moved on to the Coast League.
2 balls and a strike to Armando Rios, who's 2 for 2 tonight. That'll even things up. Branch Rickey, of course, in his days with the Cardinals, the father of the minor leagues, and really the modern system of developing baseball players.
And brought a guy named Jackie Robinson to the big leagues.
Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball, and Hakami works out of the inning. An unearned run, and it gets the PCL back over and out. Well, they've come up with some very unique mascots at the old ballpark tonight. Shark McGuire. What is that? Giraffe Griffey?
Ken Giraffe.
Ken Giraffe. And Harry Canary is the other one. Rob Ryan from Tucson, the Diamondback affiliate, will take over in center field. Out at shortstop, Jason Wood from the A's in Edmonton. And on the mound will be Kurt Miller. 10-1 with under a 3.5 ERA for Iowa this year.
Well, he's 25 years old. He was a Pirates first-round draft choice in 1990. He was acquired from Florida. He has had some arm problems. He was originally in a trade once upon a time for guys like Steve Buechele, and then came with Rob Nen. So he certainly has had a pedigree and trying to get back to the big league.
Alan Battle at the plate for the 3rd time tonight. He's walked, scored, singled, and caught stealing. Ron Belliard and Roberto Pettagini to follow here in the bottom of the 5th inning with the Internationals on top 5-3. So it's the top of the order for the home team. Right-hander Kurt Miller. Low fastball, bounced out to short. Tough play for Wood. Recovers, not in time. The speed of Alan Battle gets him on first base, leading off here in the 5th inning. It'll be an error on the shortstop, Jason Wood, who just came in.
Jason a little bit between a rock and a hard place because he's a third baseman by trade. They've got a youngster by the name of Anthony Chavez, who's going to be a brilliant player. He's a AA this year. Of course, Miguel Tejada, a great-looking young shortstop. Wood's put up some good numbers this year, though. It's going to be tough to find him a spot.
A lot of different ball clubs with their fans being represented here in Norfolk tonight. Ron Belliard is next, 0 for 2 with a ground ball and a fly to deep center. Belliard's been sitting in that number 2 hole all year for the Redbirds of Louisville. The runner goes, and a good jump. Throw is to the shortstop side, and Alan Battle swipes it.
Well, second steal for Battle tonight. He also was caught stealing one time, so Bob mentioned getting a good jump, and you can see he's 4 steps underway as Kurt Miller with kind of a high leg kick. You get that a lot with tall pitchers, and Miller at 6'5". After he tried to reach over and grab it on the backhand side and make a quick tag. See if Belliard can go the other way and advance the runner.
We saw him in that last swing trying to protect his runner. And the breaking ball away from Kurt Miller, who had all kinds of injury problems last year. Missed most of the '97 season, only appeared in 30 ball games after that surgery on the right elbow in '96. One ball and 2 strikes to Belliard. They're going to jam him. That's why he hits a fly ball to left field. That's a pretty good job if you don't want a guy hitting the ball to the right side. The wind pushing the ball back, but a strong play by Derek White keeps Alan Battle at second base. 1 out.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Bob. I mean, again, that's smart pitching by Kurt Miller and also by Paul LaDuca, the catcher, because they know Belliard's the type of guy that will advance runners, and you just come in and pound him hard, force him to hit that ball to left field. Didn't get an awful lot on it. Good piece of base running by Battle to tag up and at least force the throw from Derek White.
Well, a big matchup here. Kurt Miller against Roberto Pettigini. Fastball high in the strike zone out there in the corner. Pettigini with an RBI ground ball and a swinging strikeout against Chris Brock. Kurt Miller, the 3rd PCL pitcher tonight. We expect to see Brian Barber of Omaha next. And that'll complete the complement of Jerry Royster's starting pitchers. The rest of the guys he has, Jeff Darwin, Jeff McCurry, and Steve Gachkowski, all right-handers, are all relief guys. So he's letting the starters work through the first 2/3 of this ballgame.
You know, Barber's another guy coming back from the major elbow surgery. I remember talking to Phil Garner as we take a look at this swing again. I think Miller changed speeds on him. I talked to Phil Garner a couple of years ago when Cal Eldred was coming back from that surgery, and the doctors, that's a curveball, doctors had told Phil that eventually, once that ligament transplant heals, and it takes a good year to year and a half, it's actually stronger than it ever was.
Outside target on 1-2. Fastball misses off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's just a long rehabilitation, as Miller has found out. Brian Barber, who's going to pitch next, he's been through the elbow reconstruction. Called the Tommy John surgery because he's the first guy that ever had it done.
2-2 pitch. Runner at second, 1 out. He offered. It's a called strike on the corner. Pettigini is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts tonight. Kurt Miller really painting the outside corner there.
Take a look at the pitch. Miller goes with a 2-seamer and marked back to the home plate umpire and rings it up. So Miller throwing the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer, and the curveball. So he's got pretty good stuff tonight.
Trying to drop that hook in there and just missed with it. And the batter, Mike Lowell of the Columbus Clippers. Home run and a pop-up tonight. He hit 17 in the first half for Columbus this year.
Something going on. A home plate umpire looking down the left field line at something. And Must be something that got loose down in left field.
A glove. You're only allowed 9 gloves on the field at one time.
Going to try for a toss again.
You know, this isn't like the days of the old Black Sox when you just throw your glove out there and leave it when you head to the dugout.
Hey, that ended in 54. I was still a kid when that was in vogue.
Wasn't that something?
That was fun. You'd throw it out there, and then, of course, sometimes you'd come out and somebody would put something inside your glove. Somebody in the other team.
That's the one thing I remember about that great movie with the Black Sox. Guys making plays, tossing the glove over their shoulder, heading back, and this was in the World Series.
Yeah.
All those old great baseball films. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out to center. Rob Ryan playing this one safe, and he's got it. The leadoff error and stolen base does not hurt. 2 stranded by the Internationals. They lead.
Has to say.
Hasta la vista, Whopper.
Let's go eat one now.
Top of the 6th inning, 5-3. The International League leads it. We've had a little romance in the ballpark tonight. Joe Castellano, we even had a wedding before the ball game.
And it's a regular luau over here as we've got Benny and Naila Agbayani. They were married before the game. How special was it to do it here at the AAA All-Star game?
It's very special, you know. Ken Young did everything that, you know, he wanted for the for my wedding, and you know, it's a very, you know, big thing out here in Harbor Park, and I just want to thank him and the fans who came out to see my wedding, and you know, it's a wonderful thing.
What kind of a feeling is it to get married here just after your husband gets called up to the New York Mets?
It's a weird feeling. I was expecting to come to see him play in the All-Star game after we get married, but it's a great feeling that he's with the Mets.
Guess you figured if you couldn't play here, you might as well get married here, right?
Yeah, you know, I told her to make sure she calls Ken Young and ask him if everything was still a go, and I guess she, you know, I talked to her that night, and she said, Ken Young said everything, it's still on. And I said, okay, you know, so she took care of most of the things for me.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much. We just want to thank people in Honolulu, especially Danine Lund for the aloha wear that we wear for our wedding, and Shane Domingo from the Big Island and his family, and we just want to say hi to the people in Wailua, Nat, John, everybody in Wailua, and my grandma and Auntie Susie that couldn't be here for our wedding, and you know, just thank Ken Young and the fans who came out, and you know, we appreciate it, and you know, we just want to say aloha.
Aloha, Bob and Dave.
Well, I think that covers most of the islands right there.
Well, it must be a Met tradition. Current Yankee coach Don Zimmer once got married at home plate to his lovely wife Soot. That's her name, to me. So Zim did it many, many years ago. He's in his 50th year in professional baseball.
George Harry is the batter here with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Pacific Coast League trailing 5-3. They've never led in the ball game. Closest they got was 3-2 after an early 3-0 deficit. George Arias 1 for 2 with a double. Off-speed pitch, and Brandon Reed brings him up. Reed out of Toledo, the only mud hen in the ball game.
Yeah, P.J. Forbes, Rochester Red Wings, has taken over at second base for Ronnie Belliard. And at third base, Scott McLean. He was taken in the expansion draft. He was with the Devil Rays. And the new pitcher is Brandon Reed out of the Toledo Mud Hens. Hey, I played for them. Got to be a Mud Hen alum. Right-hander, 6'4", 185, 23 years old. Originally was a great relief pitcher. Last year, after some arm problems, he became a starter.
Alan Sinter 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. One ball, 1 strike. Yeah, Brandon Reed, 41 saves in 95, led all of the minor leagues. Out of Flint, Michigan. And he's got this man, Zinter, in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He gets a lot of movement on that sidearm fastball.
Low round draft choice, but we certainly know some of those guys can move to the forefront. 45th round in 92.
Swing and a miss on a pitch up in a very quick 6th inning for Brandon Reed and the International League. He strikes out 2, and we're going to the bottom of the 6th inning. A little.
Zab Judah battles Otilio Valerio Sunday at 10 on ESPN2.
change is now taking place in the middle of the ball game. We go to the bottom of the 6th as the International League leads the PCL by a score of 5-3. Bob Carpenter, Dave Campbell from Harbor Park in Norfolk, Virginia. Is that Cal Ripken Jr.? I believe so. Where do they find these guys, Dave? That's Pee-wee Geese is the other guy.
Pee-wee Geese.
Pee-wee Geese. This is an all-star of mascots tonight. Wow.
Oh, boy. Chad Rupp takes over at first base. He is out of the Minnesota Twins organization, playing at Salt Lake. Second base, Steve Scarsone, longtime major leaguer. He is in the Angel organization at Vancouver. Ron Warner, he's playing at Memphis. Pop Warner. Left field, Darrell Ward, son of a major leaguer. Gary Ward.
And a new catcher. Robert Machado will be behind home plate. And that's Brian Barber coming back from all those injury problems that Dave talked about. I talked to Brian earlier tonight. He said, how's your arm feel after everything you've been through? He said, hey, my arm feels great, but right now I pulled my groin muscle. He said, if I can work through this, I'm going to be okay.
How's your score sheet looking?
My score sheet is starting to look like the New York Times crossword on a Sunday morning. It's a mess. But it looks like it's going to settle down for a few innings because the PCL, according to my calculations, does not have a single extra man left. They have put everybody available into the ball game already. We'll just have to make sure we get them all right when they come up to bat.
Each team has 23 on their roster, so it's not quite like the Major League game. With the expansion, they're up to 30 now.
Scott McLean leads off. And the ball blown by him, by Brian Barber. You know, I've talked to some guys around the Pacific Coast League, and they say that Brian Barber has as good a stuff as almost anybody you'll find at the AAA level right now.
Well, he was a #1, and we heard so much about him for so many years with the St. Louis organization. But one thing about it, Houston is 60% of them. Sometimes you can get some of these guys back. We've seen a few of them tonight.
And a liner over Pop Warner's glove down at third base. Scott McLean with a single, starting off the bottom of the 6th inning. So, Dave Campbell, set the defense for you again if you can.
No, I'm just glad they're doing it in the truck. And well done, guys. Let's see. Well, we got Ward playing third and left, but not quite. But
it's Warner at third base.
Warner.
That's close. It's all right. Mike Figa, the catcher, will be next out of Columbus.
Everybody has, all the starters are gone.
.266 average for Figa, 17 homers and 60 RBIs.
International League still has about 4 bench players available. I'm sure we will see them before the evening. In fact, one of them is on deck.
Ryan Dalbach will bat next, one of the big power guys in all of minor league baseball. How about that double play? Got them both as the ball to first base in time. It didn't look like he could get 2 outs on that play.
I'll tell you, he made a nice play. Maybe not quite as nifty as Omar Vizquel last night, but bottom line is he got the job done. He got caught in between hops. And with Scarsone coming over, you see Barber falling off the mound. Wood gets a bad hop, comes up, touches, throws. Terrific play by Wood.
Ryan Dalbach is next. What a season he's having for Charlotte, hitting over 300, over 20 homers, nearly 80 runs batted in.
We have had 3 very nifty double plays tonight. Impressive middle infield work.
At 77 RBIs, by the way, that leads all of AAA baseball as well as the International League. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dalbach, a St. Louis kid out of Belleville, Illinois, just across the river. And doing a big job for his AAA affiliate now. The Devil Rays are in Durham. Mets are here in Norfolk, and the Braves.
And that change.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Threw the fastball right by him in a very quick 6th inning for Brian Barber with the help of the double play ball. On to the 7th inning here at Harper Park in Norfolk. It's still 5-3 International lead. Beautiful Harper Park in Norfolk, Virginia. And a crowd of 12,000 or so on hand for the AAA All-Star game tonight. We're going to attempt to set the defense for you another 7th inning with Chad Rupp, Robert Machado, and Steve Scarsoni. And they've made changes everywhere, but first base and center field now in the ballgame.
Alex Gonzalez, brilliant young shortstop prospect of the Marlins, is in. Dahlbeck stays in the game in right field. Greg Blosser with Durham. He used to be with the Red Sox organization, and the new pitcher is Sauerbeck, the left-hander from hometown Norfolk. So he got a nice ovation when he was announced.
Scott Sauerbeck takes on Chad Rupp. Rupp stepping in, hitting .331 for Salt Lake, the Minnesota Twins AAA affiliate. Nearly 70 RBIs. That total way up among the leaders. And Sauerbeck pulls the string on him. Scott Sauerbeck, 6'3", 190, 26 years of age. The Tides had to have a representative. His numbers are not that great, but as we mentioned earlier, Benny Agbayani got married before the game and was recently called up. And then they lost Mark Mims. He was sold to Japan. He was expected originally to be the starting pitcher.
And I think, what, Mike Tam, right-handed pitcher, was called up by the Mets last week.
And a big breaking ball drops in to strike out Chad Rupp. Robert Machado will be next. Coming up on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, we're going to stay with our offensive Colorado theme this week. Barry Bonds and the Giants will be back at Coors Field to take on Vinny Castilla, Dante Bichette, the returning Larry Walker, and the hard-hitting Colorado Rockies. Sunday night, the national game of the week at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.
Barry was probably back out at Coors Field today looking up to see where he hit that ball last night.
It was a ways, huh?
Oh, boy. He got a high changeup and lost it.
Robert Machado is next. First pitch swinging, a bouncer to short. Alex Gonzalez guns him out, 2 down.
Gonzalez, the youngster out of Venezuela, just 21 years old, and we've heard so much about him for a couple of years. The bat not there yet, but they say he is so gifted that if Renteria stays with the Marlins, doesn't get traded, which is a big if because you see his name about quite a bit, that eventually Gonzalez could supplant him and maybe even move Renteria to third.
Well, a veteran playing for the Vancouver Canadians. Vancouver, the Anaheim AAA affiliate, and a well-known major leaguer, Steve Scarsoni, having a fine year. He was in camp with the Cardinals last year for a while. Played only 5 games, 10 at-bats for St. Louis. Then he went on to San Diego. And for Vegas, 251 at-bats there. Just a reliable guy to have if you need some infield insurance. He's got a little pop in his bat occasionally. Knows how to play the game.
But the last couple of years with the Giants, did a good job filling in for them. And you're right. He'll turn on one once in a while and drive it a long ways.
And he knows all about the AAA All-Star game. He was the International League Star of Stars in the '91. He beats it out for an All-Star base hit.
Well, what an arm by McLean, though. I think that ball might have hit the base and deflected, so he had to be a contortionist to even catch the ball, and then he unloaded a cannon across the diamond. Let's see if this ball might hit the base. It looked like it got redirected. Well, we can't tell, but boy, did he load up the gun and didn't even get all of his body into it. McLean, of course, Boggs is playing in front of him. Robert Smith, the third baseman. He keeps making plays like that, though. He's going to see Tampa Bay pretty soon.
Jason Wood steps in from the Edmonton Trappers. Oakland Athletics top affiliate. He's having a big RBI season up there in Canada. '11th round draft choice 7 years ago.
His head, I gotta go around again.
With a man aboard, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Pacific Coast League trying to battle back. Looked like we were going to have a lot of fireworks the way this thing got started, but now it's a 5-3 ball game in the top of the 7th. Oh, he's got a good curve. And Sauerbeck.
It's first aid for heartburn, diarrhea, nausea, indigestion, and upset stomachs.
Bottom of the 7th inning, a couple of guys who get to talk together on radio all the time in Rochester. We thought they'd enjoy being together on TV tonight. Marv Foley with our guy, Joe Castellano. Joey?
Marvelous, Marv. It must be a thrill to be managing this game, but it's also difficult getting everybody into the game.
Well, it certainly is a thrill being part of the AAA All-Star game here. It's a great game, great 2 days here. And that is the toughest part of managing the game, really, is getting everybody in. But the guys have been great about it. We try to split the game up, five innings and 4, and everybody's getting a chance to show what they can do to, the country.
How much fun is it to have Joel Bennett on the team, P.J. Forbes, Willis Otanya's 3 of your guys?
Well, those guys have all had great years for us up to this point. Joel Bennett, 10-0. Willie leading us in every offensive category, and P.J. for me is a bona fide major leaguer. So it's good to have my 3 guys with me.
How are you going to win this thing?
Oh, what a question.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
That's Marv Foley. Thanks a lot. Back to you guys.
All right, bottom of the 7th inning. Thanks, Joey. Greg Glosser leading off. P.J. Forbes to follow. Nope. Then it'll be Alex Gonzalez to follow. At shortstop, P.J. Forbes is at second base. He would bat 4th in this inning. And the pitcher is Danny Darwin's little brother, Jeff Darwin, out of Fresno, and he's having quite a season. 18 saves already this year.
Got a pretty good arm. Been with Seattle. Also been with San Francisco and the White Sox. We'll take a look at his numbers. 18 saves, 3.26. Kind of throws about the same arm angle as big brother, too.
Breaks the hands very early. And that sinker is over but low.
I mean, where else would a Texan go but Alvin Junior College, the home of Nolan Ryan?
Not a bad little tradition to follow. Although the miles per hour a little bit different. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And a high fastball popped out of play over to the left side.
Kind of thinking about Danny Darwin and Nolan Ryan. I mean, so many pitchers have to make adjustments as they go through their career. I mean, the arm starts to take its toll. You see a guy like Steve Avery right now who's kind of in the mold of a Frank Tanana, who went from a power pitcher to a guy who's a finesser, but he's making it work for the most part. But Danny Darwin and Nolan Ryan, they've never really changed their pitching pattern. They've been the same type of guys. Nolan, of course, threw harder, but no junk ballers there.
And a leadoff walk. Greg Glosser is aboard. That'll bring up Alex Gonzalez. Having a fine year for Charlotte offensively. And as Dave mentioned, the defense is something to behold. He's hitting .310 to go along with his great glove work and his great work with the arm out there at shortstop.
Well, Alex out of Venezuela, and number 13, we certainly know Omar Vizquel wore that number, and before him, Davy Concepcion. So he's carrying on that tradition of great Venezuelan shortstops.
A year ago at this time, he was playing in the AA All-Star game as the Eastern All-Star.
Need another run. Let's go.
For Portland, Maine, 19 homers and 65 RBIs last year. Some serious pop for a middle infield.
One of the better team nicknames, the Sea Dogs.
Yeah, it's Gary Thorne's neck of the woods up there.
It is.
I bet he's been to some Sea Dog games.
He's broadcasting.
Minor league baseball has really become something great again here in the 90s. Franchises are more valuable than they've ever been before. New ballparks. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes, pitch low and away. Throw high, and the runner safe. Glosser is in there. Robert Machado really not given a whole lot of chance with a good jump and the low pitch.
I wonder if Robert's okay. He's kind of bent over. I don't know if he hurt himself on the throw or not. Darwin with kind of a, well, it wasn't real bad delivery to the plate, but perfect throw would have gotten him, but it was high. Something's bothering Machado. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think in all-star games they have a rule if a catcher would get hurt that they'd be able to bring back the starting catcher.
Well, they still have one more, Fausto Tejero. International League actually carrying 3 catchers for this game because they weren't sure until the last moment that Bobby Estalella would make it to start tonight. He did. So we may see Tejero out of Richmond. He's the only position player left who's not come into the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Alex Gonzalez. Darwin checking the runner. And a fly to right field sends Newsom back to the wall. It's off the wall. Glosser around third. They will send him. It'll be an RBI triple for Alex Gonzalez. Well, he put a serious charge into that ball going the other way.
That's doing the job in spades. Nobody out. You want to advance that runner from second to third. He not only did that, but also almost hit a ball out of here. National League's been the more aggressive team tonight, especially on the base paths. This ball halfway up the fence gets past Warren Newsom, and you're going to see Blauser score easily, and Gonzalez in full flight coming around second.
Alan Battle will be next. Looks like he and Pettigini, maybe Lowell, will be the only guys to play the entire ball game tonight. Battle a grounder. It's underneath the glove of Pop Warner. And a base hit to left scores another. It's now a 7-3 lead for the International League.
Gonzalez gets congratulations. Battle having a very solid evening. He's been on all 4 times tonight. A walk, a couple of hits, and reached on an air. Plus, he's made a fine running catch in center field. See, with the infield in, just past Warner into left field, and the International League goes up by 4.
Nobody out still. P.J. Forbes, the batter.
Thinking about my early candidate for MVP in this game so far. Alan Battle is getting into the hunt.
Yeah, 2 base hits.
Joel Bennett had a couple of great innings, the starting pitcher for the International League.
P.J. Forbes, a Kansas boy out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Played at Wichita State on some of their outstanding teams that Gene Stevenson had in the late 80s. He hits it hard. Ball picked off the ground. That'll be a double play. Scarsoni played it on the short hop. Really nothing the runner could do there, and it's a 4-6-3 twin killing. So now the base is wiped empty with 2 outs. The AA All-Star game from New Haven, Connecticut coming up next. Former nasty boy Rob Dibble on the commentary. He'll be joined by our crew at the AA All-Star game tonight. That's coming up from New Haven, Connecticut, right after we finish things up here on ESPN2 tonight. Brian Anderson will have the call with Rob Dibble from New Haven, Connecticut.
Dude, left-handed pitcher Brian Anderson? No.
No, one pitcher in the booth is enough. When one of them's Rob Dibble, that's quite enough.
By the way, another nice double play. We've seen 4 beautifully executed double plays by the middle infield tonight.
Roberto Pettigini looking for his first base hit. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Scarsoni, nice play on the backhand side. We saw Wood make a great unassisted double play. Hadjic in the middle of a double play, and Ronnie Belliard turning one nicely.
2-0 pitch. And it's low and inside, ball 3. Marv Foley on the top end of a 7-3 score right now as the International League tries to win the first ever meeting, since these are the only 2 AAA leagues now. 3-0 pitch and a 4-pitch walk. Pettigini is on for the first time.
Foley trying to add to that resume. 3 championships at the AAA level in all 3 leagues, and now trying to get an all-star win.
Good solid baseball man there, Marv Foley. Born in Stanford, Kentucky. Lives down in Sarasota now with his wife and his daughters. Had a playing career that had him with the White Sox. And a 63-game appearance with the Texas Rangers in 1984. He was basically a 12-year minor league guy.
Kind of chewing on the lineup right now to see what he can figure out.
Well, he's only got one more move he can make. That's a catch.
Come on, Mike, get it. Come on, Mike.
Mike Lowell is his DH. Mike, the Yankee farmhand, delivered early with a solo homer back in the first. Pop up and a fly ball to center since. International League has out-hit the Pacific Coast 11-6. He gets a pitch up and hammers it out to left center. The wind is blowing, and this ball is at the base of the wall. Another run will score. A double for Lowell. He's 2 for 4 with a pair of extra base hits. Earlier tonight, the wind would have blown that ball out of here. It's a little calmer now, but he hit it about 375 feet.
Fastball up in the zone, and Lowell put a quick bat at it. I think Mike thought he had a home run. See Darrell Ward going for it and runs out of real estate. Was able to block it with his body. Lowell, another MVP candidate with a home run and a double.
Scott McLean is next.
Internationally, he's gotten great production out of this spot in the order. Tanya's had a double and a single while he was in there. McLean is single, so that number 6 spot in the order, number 5 spot, is 3 for 3 tonight.
Football scholarship at USC to sign a baseball contract with the Orioles back in '90. He was a highly touted high school quarterback coming out of Simi Valley, California. 1 ball, 1 strike. And this pitch low and away, 2-1. This lineup spot's been pretty good for Mark Foley tonight. Willis Otanez was 2 for 2. McLean a base hit his first time up. He had a pitch up and he was ripping away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Jeff hadn't been locating terribly well in the inning. He got away with one right there. That's the same pitch that Lowell hit off the left center field fence. If you're going to be up in the strike zone, you better be about 95 plus.
Just off the corner. I think that Darwin thought he had a strike there. He was heading to the dugout. Instead, a 3-2 count now. And they have sent Fausto Tejero, the Richmond catcher, to the on-deck circle. He would be the last position player to make it into the ballgame tonight.
Well, Jeff figured that inning had lasted long enough. Thought he had a strike 3, but he's still out there dealing to McLean.
He's getting very close to 30 pitches here in the 7th inning. Here's Tejero. Hitting .267 in Richmond and a fastball. Will walk McLean and get Tejero to the plate, and he'll take over as the catcher. 3 walks in the inning, and Jerry Royster heading for the mound.
Jerry glancing towards the bullpen. I don't know if he's going to make a move or just try to settle Jeff in a little bit. Well, I think one of the things he's trying to do is either A, trying to stall, or B, settle Darwin down after the 1 call that he thought was a strike. And he was just stalling a little bit.
Jerry Royster has Jeff McCurry and Steve Gachkowski left in the bullpen. 28 pitches for Darwin. With the Bulls. Bob Carpenter, Dave Campbell from Norfolk. Maybe some guys you've never heard of before. A few you might have. Dave, what's impressed you about the All-Star game here so far?
I think the middle infield defensive play has been absolutely brilliant. I mean, Belliard and Hadjic turned beautiful double plays. Wood an unassisted one. Scarsoni to the backhand side. And also the in-between inning entertainment has been absolutely fabulous. It really has been.
Yeah, the folks here in Norfolk have done a very nice job. Great part of the country. One of the mildest climates 4 distinctive seasons here in the Tidewater area. And it's been a gorgeous night for baseball. They've done a nice job of hosting the event, and the crowd has responded. 12,000 or so here at this really nice ballpark that the Mets call their AAA home.
It is a wonderful home.
And sometimes the lights go out, too.
So, Steve, we think it's
Gachkowski.
Gachkowski.
It is Gachkowski.
Okay, we asked around, and we got a lot of different opinions. So, Tejera is the last position player for the International League team to get in. So, I think we're going to see just about everybody tonight.
Fausto Tejero, the catcher. Not big numbers at Richmond. The only Richmond Brave that is Well, has the International League put this one out of reach? 6 outs remaining for the Pacific Coast League. A lot of youngsters having a great time here in Norfolk, Virginia tonight. Fausto Tejero of the Richmond Braves will stay in and handle the catching duties, and Shannon Witham will take over for the International League All-Stars, having a fine year at Syracuse with a 9-4 record, and he will face Warren Newson here leading off the top of the 8th inning. Syracuse, the Toronto AAA affiliate.
Well, Witham not up on their high depth chart as far as prospects. You got a guy named Roy Halladay that was a high draft choice, but you know, you got to figure maybe if the Blue Jays get into the trade market with either Juan Guzman or Pat Hinkton, we've heard rumors of that Witham may get a shot.
Within at 6'3", 185 out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Been with the Tigers. He signed in '90, was released, signed by the Mets, and now he's with his third organization.
And Newson with a high fly ball. This ball really carrying to left field. And what's the call? Home run. The wind pushed it. It stayed fair. And Warren Newson has his second RBI of the game on an opposite field home run.
Andy Fletcher, third base umpire, went a long ways and made a very demonstrative call that he was sure of it. So the Deacon gets into the home run column, going to the opposite field.
Well, Warren Newson on the year, 14 home runs for Oklahoma, 51 RBIs. I mean, that was a towering blast. It got up in that jet stream, and that was all she wrote for that one. Rob Ryan is next. Ryan with the Tucson Ball Club having a good year at 327.
Another thing we haven't talked about, and that's usually a good sign. I think a great job by the umpires tonight. Very few arguments. They've been right on top of all the calls. Good hustle.
And a bouncing ball to the right side for P.J. Forbes. That's the first out here in the top of the 8th inning. Yeah, Andy Fletcher, 5 years in the Pacific Coast League. Very aggressive. And as you said, very demonstrative getting down that line to make this call.
Takes the outside belt-high fastball. Warren knew he got enough of it. And swore it goes past that third base umpire, Andy Fletcher. Home run all the way.
Don't you like seeing an umpire who makes the aggressive call rather than some guy just flipping his arm out?
Don't get me started.
Darrell Ward, the batter.
This kid, they tell us, has got a lightning-quick bat. Came over as part of a 9-player trade engineered by the Astros and Tigers a year ago. His dad, Gary Ward, major leaguer.
And could he hit? Gary was an outstanding right-handed hitter. And this kid's put up some pretty big numbers in the minor leagues. Counting what he's done this year, 62 home runs as a minor leaguer. 1-2 pitch. Dad must have taught him how to bat left-handed. And a sliding catch for Alan Battle. He can really cover some ground in center field, and that's the second out here in the 8th.
Well, early on, it was Armando Rios, the center fielder for the Pacific Coast League, with the fine defensive plays. But now Battle's gone deep out near the 410 side. Now comes on and makes the sliding catch. Both cases got an excellent jump. So again, you got to consider him in the MVP balloting for this. He's been aboard 4 times in 2 fine defensive plays.
And here's Ron Warner. First plate appearance of the night for the young man they call Pop. He was given that nickname by St. Louis Cardinal minor league coach and organization guru George Kissel, who goes around teaching fundamentals to everybody in that organization.
One of my all-time favorite people in baseball. George has been around since Methuselah. But he is one of the great instructors in the game.
Well, taught Todd Seal how to play third base, who was a catcher. He's been working with John Mabry this year, who spells Gary Gaetti from time to time. Pop Warner out of the University of Wyoming. I was joking with him before the game. I said, you know, if you were a pitcher at Memphis, we would have seen you in St. Louis by now. Just about everybody on the Memphis staff has been called up, including Brady Raggio, who's one of the statistical leaders in the PCL this year from starting pitching. 3-2 pitch, and he took it on the corner. He knew it. PCL. The 1998 AAA All-Star Game from Harbor Park in Norfolk, Virginia. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Bob Carpenter and Dave Campbell with you. A lot of fun yesterday, Dave, including the catcher's throwing contest. By the way, catcher said the key to it was throw the ball easy. Don't gun it down there.
Yeah, Fausto Tejero won the throwing contest. The outfield throwing contest was won by Jeremy Giambi, and then Mike Lowell certainly performed well in the home run contest, as did Derek White, who hit 11 in the first round. He put on quite a show. And Greg Blosser also went deep several times.
Yeah, Blosser's hit 19 this year. Lowell has hit 17. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Brian Daubach, Greg Blosser, Alice Gonzalez for the International League, as Steve Gajkowski will stay out there and pitch. And evidently, Jeff McCurry will be the only man not appearing in the ball game tonight, the Nashville right-hander, who has 20 saves on the year. Todd Williams is warming up for the International League. He's the only player for the home team that has not appeared. And if we can ever get Cal Ripken Jr. off the field, we'll get this bottom of the 8th inning going. Oh, boy. Only in the minor leagues, folks. People will pay to come out and see a cow beating his head on the side of the dugout. Oprah would love it. Here's Daubach leading off. And a foul ball off to the left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Daubach with a strikeout in the 6th inning. This guy's had a real big power year with 21 homers and 77 RBIs. Are the Charlotte Knights. And the fastball at the knees on the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Some night that 0 for 3 will just drive you crazy, won't it? Can't wait to beat your head on something. Well, hopefully things are a little calmer where Joe Castellano is. Joe, what's going on?
At the beginning, I hit it pretty well, and saw the ball carrying a little, and I was looking at the outfielders, and but I'll take a double off the wall. That's fine.
Hey, this has been a great year for you. 30 home runs last year, and you're still just a youngster. How do you feel about your career going?
Well, I think I have to be satisfied so far. I think the key is not to be complacent. There's still a whole second half left, and I think if I stay focused, I could finish the season doing pretty well.
Speaking of focusing, the designated hitter at an all-star game, I guess you could really focus on your hitting.
That's true. I think, I guess the reward for being a DH is playing the whole game. So I get 4 at-bats, so I don't have to worry about trying to do something in the first 2. So I guess it was a small reward for being DH.
And how about being with the Yankees organization as a AAA guy? We've talked about this. That's got to be tough.
Well, I mean, they're playing such good ball. You can't do anything but do what you're doing right down here, They can do no wrong right now. It just seems that they're hot all the time, and more power to them. They're a great organization, and I really wish all those players the best, really.
Congratulations on the hits today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Mike Lowell. Back up to you guys.
Mike Lowell, 2 for 4 tonight with a homer, a double, 2 RBIs. 2 outs, bases empty after that high fly ball out by Greg Blosser, and Alex Gonzalez will be the batter with 2 outs and the bases empty, bottom of the 8th inning. Steve Gajkowski trying to close things out here for the PCL. RBI triple off the right field wall last time, going the other way for Gonzalez. That was part of a 3-run 7th inning It gave the International League a decisive lead in this game of 8-3. It's now 8-4 after the Newson homer in the top of this inning. And that foul ball deflecting off Robert Machado.
Alan Battles even making good plays in the on-deck circle. He grabbed that foul ball as it was coming right at him.
By the way, Todd Williams, the only remaining pitcher for the International League, warming in the bullpen.
Convenience of changing tint transitions lenses. Indoors, they lighten. Outdoors, they darken. So lightweight plastic Transitions lenses are right in any light. Make the change to Transitions lenses and see for yourself.
It's a great day.
Transitions lenses, right in any light and right for you.
Well, Joel Bennett has had a storybook season, 10-0 for Rochester, and he will be the the winning pitcher tonight as the starter. If this result holds up, you don't need 5 innings in an all-star game to get the W. And we go to the top of the 9th inning. Right-hander Todd Williams will take over. Williams, the Indianapolis Indians right-hander, who will try to close things out.
27 years old, big guy, 6'4", listed 190. I think that might have been a couple of years ago. He has pitched for the Dodgers. He has also been with Oakland, signed with Cincinnati as a free agent this past offseason. Had 33 saves for Chattanooga a while back, and his numbers this year are pretty impressive.
He'll face Alan Zinter, the DH. First baseman Chad Rupp, catcher Robert Machado to follow. As the Pacific Coast League is down to its final 3 outs here in the top of the 9th, down by 4 runs. Everybody in the ball game tonight except for Jeff McCurry of the Pacific Coast League, the Nashville right-hander. And you can see Williams, a sidewinder with that severely moving and sinking fastball away from the left-hander.
Well, the kind of numbers Williams has put up this year, he hasn't gotten the call yet, but with Jeff Shaw being traded to Los Angeles, that does open up a right-handed spot in the Cincinnati bullpen.
No balls, 1 strike, and out of play again. Only 1 negative from the ball game tonight, really, and that's the hamstring pull of Jeremy Giambi. We certainly hope that Jeremy will be okay. He had walked in the 3rd inning and trying to steal second, pulled up lame on his way. The Omaha outfielder having an outstanding season. We hope that Hammy will be okay in a day or 2. No balls, 2 strikes. That ball came very close to hitting Alan Zinter. Next year, the Pacific Coast League will be the home team for the All-Star game. It'll be up at the home of the Oakland Athletics in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And, you know, that'll really be a day game because it never gets dark up there until, what, 11 o'clock this time of the year?
Yeah, about this time.
We may not need lights or anything. It'll be O Canada next year at this time. Now the city of Norfolk, the Tides, everybody's teamed up to put on an outstanding show tonight. And for these ball players, coaches, and managers the last couple of days.
Zinter getting his hacks. PCL down by 4 as we go to the 9th, so they need some base runners.
Alan Zinter, a couple of strikeouts and a walk tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Got him with a backdoor breaking ball. He's failed to put the ball in play in 4 times up there, and that's the first out here in the top of the 9th.
Well, that's the one thing. When you have the side-wheeling right-handers, they almost historically always had trouble with left-handed batters. They either need the changeup or that good backdoor slider to be able to get those guys out. You saw Zinter have pretty good cuts at the fastball. Now, right-handed batter up, maybe a little different story with Williams coming from Port Arthur.
Oh, it's not Laredo anymore, huh?
Yeah, Laredo's really a right-hander. Port Arthur's a left-hander. I got my Texas cities mixed up there.
Well, there's a Texas League fly ball from Chad Rupp, and he's got a base hit out to right center. Robert Machado will be next as the Pacific Coast League tries to string a couple of hits together. Yeah, it's interesting. Looking at the map here, Dave, the state of Texas does not have a AAA city. It's heavily into the AA with Texas League.
San Antonio, Midland, Amarillo, El Paso.
There are some serious bus trips
I managed that
in the
league.
Lone Stars.
I managed that league one year. You do not have to tell me.
Robert Machado, the batter. Now, what kind of manager were you? I mean, were you a tough guy or were you a player's manager?
I was horrible. But, you know, the good thing about it, I did it for 1 year and got it out of my system. Never to even consider it again.
See? Bouncer up the middle. This could end the game. It's a 6-4-3 double play, and the International League wins it by a score of 8-4.
Well, we talked about the middle defense being impressive all night. This is the 5th double play of the evening. And again, great play. Gonzalez so smooth, the Forbes, and he gets the runner down, delivers 5 double plays, and they were all nifty tonight.
Well, Dave, your final thoughts on the ball game. International League out hits the PCL 12-8, wins it 8-4.
Well, I just thought it was a very well-played game for the most part, and the International League on top. I thought great performance by Joel Bennett, the starting pitcher. We saw some terrific defense. Armando Rios of the PCL was the early star. George Arias looked good. We've talked about him before the game. Alan Battle, I thought, had a great game. And, of course, Mike Lowell with the home run and a double tonight. Certainly the stars of the game.
Well, Jerry Royster's team losing at 8-4. A snappy 2 hours and 31 minutes for the AAA All-Star game here in Norfolk tonight at Harbor Park. They put on a nice show. The final score, International League wins it by a score of 8-4. Stay tuned for the AA All-Star game from New Haven, Connecticut. It's coming up next. For Dave Campbell, Joe Castellano, our wedding party, mascots, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of
ESPN News. This is Michael Kim. I'm Whit Watson. Lots more news coming up in this half hour. Stay with us. ESPN News is coming right back with more.